Are you having trouble getting better at gorilla tag really fast? Well, don't worry, this video will help you. It covers all the things you need to learn in the game, as well as little pointers to help improve the speed you learn at, and what to do in each stage of the game. It'll help you get better no matter what stage you're at, even if you're a professional better than me. This gives pointers that help you improve. Anyway, let's get on with the video. Okay guys, this is a beginner level, so first I'm going to be talking about running, first things to learn, and how to learn it. So the first things you're going to want to learn is obviously running. The best way to run is there's spread jam or peanut butter or whatever you want to think of. Just spread something on toast. So just pretend you're spreading, and then you shouldn't go too far off the ground, and then do it with both hands, and then you can run a decent pace at the moment. It's honestly pretty much faster than my run, I'm gonna be honest. Anyway, next you're gonna want to learn pinch climbing and whatever this thing is. So to do that, you're gonna want to wrap your arm around and push towards you and up, towards you and up, towards you up. So you don't want to push just straight up, or else you're gonna just fall. But you don't want to push too towards you, or else you won't go up fast. You're gonna want to find that sweet spot where you diagonally pull right back at you. So like go here and then pull straight at. Go here, pull straight up, pull straight up. So just like put your arms up diagonally and pull back. It's really easy to learn it that way, and honestly should only take you about 10 to 30 minutes to learn. Okay, and then this is a little bit harder. You're just gonna want to hit diagonally, hit diagonally, hit diagonally. Now don't pause, okay? That's something you do when you better, because you slowly push away from yourself. But that's something you learn in like a lot later, like I'd say intermediate. And then just, so you're going to want to hit diagonally. That's just the base. I usually get carried away. I'm going to try not to do that. So you're just going to want to hit diagonally, hit diagonally, hit diagonally, hit diagonally, hit diagonally, and then just go up. Although when you're new, you can't hit hard, so I highly recommend you don't hit complete diagonal. Instead, you hit a little bit more toward the wall than diagonal. Just so it's a little bit easier for you to go up. But now that you learned that, I highly recommend you learn hitting a little harder. Usually when you're newer, you can't really hit hard at all. You won't be able to make this. You'll be able to hit high enough, but you won't be able to aim it. You'll probably like go like that if you're lucky. If not, you're probably going to hit the other direction. When going up, you're going to be like, and then do that. Or, and then get lucky and hit this possibly. But I highly recommend you learn it. You just got to hit. Like right here, for example, and then you can do this. It's a lot easier, and you're just gonna want to hit straight up, put your arm out. It helps when you have longer arms for that though. And then just quickly, I'm gonna tell you, when you're a beginner, you want to learn branching really well. So I highly recommend you learn this branch route to begin with. You can take it as slow as you can. I highly recommend you don't go to the edge. You hit, and when you hit, I highly recommend from here you hit with your left hand. Keep your right hand out, and then jump right at it, like that. If you don't, and you jump like this, it's going to be a lot harder for you to aim it. So you're going to want to put your hand like right here, put your right hand up. But if you can't do that, just keep your right hand in, and then do this, and then land on it, or put your hand out. Oh, after, because at the same time, when branching, guys, when you're newer, it takes a lot of concentration. If you forget about your left hand, you're going to miss, and then you're going to fall. So you don't want to do that. Just quick disclaimer. I've learned that when you're new to something, you need to focus on it. So I highly recommend you just focus on keeping your hand on here and then hitting forward. You don't even gotta like look where you're going, just hit forward. And then you just drop down here. And then you pretty much just drop down, but you want to give it a slight hit. You can hit as hard as you can. You'll catch yourself on that branch anyway. So that's some basic routes for beginners. I'm not going to move on to intermediate yet. I'm going to give a couple more beginner tips and introduce you to branching. I'm going to save walls for intermediate. I'm sorry if you guys want to learn walls. That's intermediate. Anyway, let's go straight into this route. So this route, also really beginner friendly. You just got to give a slight hit here. Highly recommend you just do it. It's a really easy one, same with this. But when this one, you're going to want to go slow and steady. Stop right here. Don't go to the edge. Stop right here. And then just hit as hard as you can forward. Launch yourself here. Then from here, you can either try to hit up. I know that beginners have a lot of trouble hitting on slants. They always just hit backwards or something. Or just straight up. So if you can't do that, hit on this slant since it's facing toward the object. It's so much easier. So that's gonna bring me on to another topic I just want to quickly cover. Beginners with slants, you're gonna want to learn how to hit them in all different ways, or else you're not gonna be able to progress to intermediate. Because beginners always hit the slants really strange. It's like they're always hitting the direction of the slant, so they're gonna always be say the slants this direction, they're gonna be hitting this way, and that's true. The slant's in this direction, right? You're trying to pull up. Beginners tend to go like this and this, and it's really, really hard for them to climb because it's a slant. But once you get better, don't worry, it becomes so much easier. You know that you just gotta pull yourself toward the slant instead of just hitting like you hit normal ground. It's just so much easier. And then this bridge is fine as long as you're not going to miss it. It's a little bit harder. Anyway, that's that. So next, I'm actually going to be talking about pinch climbing up a tree. So these are like on the verge of beginner to intermediate. So once you can do these things, I highly call you like good. But there are things you do need to train. I'll get to that at the end of the beginner tab. But so pinch climbing anything is really difficult to start off. You're gonna want to find one of these little things. You're gonna want to do this and do the same thing I taught you earlier. Diagonal pull toward you, but you can't do this for too long, or else, as you see, you push in and you fall. So that's why you gotta do it quicker. As you can see here, you're pulling like that. And so there's two things you can do. You pull down, and people just tell you to pull down and then let go and then do the circle, but I highly recommend you do half the circle in, half the circle out. So then you pull yourself toward it and don't fall. Beginners, that's how you do it. When you're better, you can just do it. Just pull up and don't do it. But at the moment, you can't do that. And we do pull inward when we're really far away from the tree, but like we try to make that not happen. Anyway, so that's the majority of it. I highly recommend you learn how to hit harder. I highly recommend you learn how to branch a little bit like faster. So instead of like branching like this, try to speed it up and branch something like this. It just shaves off so much time and lets you get away from people. It is not needed, but it's highly recommended for intermediate learning. You obviously need it in the future, so I'm just gonna say learn it now. So instead of just branching where you go like this, you're gonna want to branch a little bit faster than that. But that's pretty much all. Learn ground, learn double walls, learn branching, and learn branching fast, and then learn how to hit surfaces correctly. Anyway, with that being said, we're going to be moving on to intermediate. Okay, yes, I'm here with intermediate, and the first thing I'm going to be showing you is this route. I'm classifying this in intermediate because this is going to be something beginners won't be able to do easily. It is slightly harder, but it's an easy route, honestly. So you're just going to want to hit up here, and then hit up here. So the reason I'm classifying this with intermediate is because people usually try making beginners hit harder, and this in the end makes them not be able to do walls as easily without low hurts. So you're going to want to learn how to do other things than hit harder beginning, but still learn how to hit harder, because when you hit harder, you're going to be hitting walls harder. It's just going to be so much difficult to learn walls. So I highly try to not build that in. Hitting hard is a good strength though, when you know not to do it all the time when you're a beginner. But like always, you do want to hit hard all the time when you're a professional. But anyway, so this should be about your branching speed if you're in intermediate right now. So this is about your branching speed. About that should be fine. And then now you can do like this. You shouldn't be perfect at these slants, but you need to be good enough where you're just making slight slight errors with it. And then I also highly recommend you go and watch a different route tutorial to learn some routes. It is also classified in ranks, so you can choose which ones you want to do and which ones you deem difficult. And then just try to learn some new routes. I highly recommend it. And anyway, now we're going to be going on to walls. So, this is going to be difficult to explain. Walls is really difficult. You don't want to hit. Like, you want to hit up, right? Straight up. But after you hit up, you're going to want to pull it back, hit up, pull it back, hit up. But it's so difficult. I'm gonna tell you this. Walls are one of the hardest things in this game if you're not on low hertz. I don't recommend you use low hertz because it just makes you horrible at everything else. And then when you get off of them, you're not that good at walls anymore. So yeah. So you're just gonna want to practice hitting straight up. If you practice the hit parallel, that's perfect. So there's two key things for walls: hitting straight up, but not straight up. Like go slightly forward, right? That'll help beginners a lot. And to practice on walls with a bunch of creases on them. That is huge. So for example, this wall you got 1 crease, 2 crease, 3 crease. That's not many creases, except the thing with this wall that makes it decent to learn is this is a really slanted wall until up here. So until you can get up here, I highly recommend you practice on this wall because of these slants right here. It helps you with wall running, and I highly recommend you learn wall climbing because it's so much more forgiving. Just learn how to hit parallel with the walls. What I like to tell my friends to do when I teach them, which they don't do, they're horrible at listening. You just hit this wall right here, hit into this wall, and then just keep practicing that until you can always do it. And then try slowly making it 2. Don't continue, because then you'll build bad habits of messing up. And then slowly, once you feel good with that, implement 3. And then say you implement 6. And then on your 6th one, you go flying off. Well, you should go back to 5 for a little bit, and then try 6 again. And say you get 6, and then you get 7 and 8. You only want to do that until you're up to like 5 or something, I'm just saying. But if you're consistently failing, like something like that, or something like that, that means you're hitting either too far away, or you're hitting at the wrong time. It's all about timing. It's all about how hard you hit, like when you hit. It's just all about that. Because like say I do this and I hit too early, I'll miss it. Say I do this, hit slightly too early, it's just gonna flick me off like that. So you're just gonna want to find that sweet time. And that's the same with wall running. You don't want to hit too fast, because then you'll fall really fast because of like I think it's called jump fatigue or something. But you also don't want to do it too slow, because you'll lose all your momentum, right? You don't find this perfect speed. And then you also don't want to hit too far away. You want to keep your arm close to you, or else you're obviously not going to have enough room to pull your arm out if you mess up. You want to obviously practice keep your arm as close to you as possible. It helps, but sometimes you need to put your arm out to get the last couple hits. It's fine. Just practice on it too. Because the thing is, you need to reset your arm every single crevice. That's why it's really useful to practice crevices. You put your arm closer to you. Anyway, I believe this is all I really need to cover for walls right now. Just practice. If you don't understand any of this, just watch another wall tutorial. And yeah, so we're gonna be moving on to the next topic. I'm gonna be cutting to the next topic because my audio is about to die. So see you later, I guess, in my next cut. Okay guys, so the next little pointer for intermediate I'm going to be giving you guys is a little bit of a pointer I've given before for branching. You're going to want to branch toward the branch, okay? Like, it's just like something you need to learn how to do. You don't necessarily need to focus on it, but focus on it at some point. Instead of branching where you hit up like this, you're going to want to like push it in a lot. You're going to want to like branch toward the branch. It helps increase your speed a ton. Also, might I add, it's also good to hit harder. You don't want to focus on this in intermediate, okay? Hitting harder is more of an advanced thing. Except, you do want to focus a little bit on hitting harder. Just a tad, like, hit a little bit harder. Test it out. Just for later, just practice hitting harder. It's gonna help with long jumps. It's gonna help with a bunch of other stuff. But that's what you're gonna want to do. And then just try hitting some of these jumps. They're not long jumps, but they're longer jumps than usual. But that's pretty much that. And then I also recommend you learn some harder routes. This used to be on my advanced list, but now it's become more of a easier thing to do, where you hit here, hit here, hit here, hit here. I don't do this at all anymore. I actually got a better route for this, where I underbranch from here instead of going like this. But it's still quite decent. No one does it anymore in comp, or people just forgot about it. So it probably will work in competitive, but yeah. And for my last little branching pointer, I do want to say, use these little mini things. It'll help a lot. You can practice some universal routes or whatever, because each of these trees are the same, right? So you can practice, like, I mess it up, but like, you get the point. You want to practice universal routes and obviously hitting these small little branches here. This branch and this branch both are things you want to practice, but in particular this branch would be nice to practice, because if you can get this branch figured out early on, it'll help you a lot in escaping people. Because I actually know only one route with this, where it's over here, right, where I go here, I hit this mini one, and then go here. It's really useful to learn, so I highly recommend you learn the branch hits. And yeah, I keep adding more to this, but as long as you just got that down, hitting toward and making sure you can hit things right, I'm pretty sure you're good for intermediate. Learn wall climbing. So I'm just gonna quickly give you what you need to focus on. So you want to focus on running faster on ground. You're gonna want to focus on jukes on ground, as well as maybe a little bit of things like that or things like this, which I'm not going to teach you since it's quite simple to learn. You're going to want to learn scaling, which is pretty much just walls on here, except you don't need to learn it. You can just learn pinch climbing instead and just pinch climb up. Oh, this is going to be so difficult. Like that, just pinch climb, you don't need to scale. It's perfectly fine if you do that. It's not necessary. Scaling is more like you don't need. And then yeah, that's pretty much that. Now guys, I'm going to be going on to advanced. Okay guys, to start off advanced, we're actually going to be starting this off with a little bit of a boom. So what I highly recommend is you learn long jumps. So in other words, just do this jump and then hits. It's not that difficult. There are a couple key components to long jumps. It's how you hit it, it's how hard you hit it, and then it's flicks. Flicks and how hard you hit it are two completely different things. Flicks give you extra hit. Hitting it hard is like, you just hit it hard. If I were to flick this, I don't really go as high as I hit it hard. Like, this is a flick forward, this is a jump forward. It doesn't make a huge difference. But that was a jump forward without a flick at the end. So yeah. Anyway, so to flick practice, you just want to put your arm up, back up so you can't touch it, and then flick so you hit it. I think I hit it down there, that's my bad. Can't touch it, flick, hit. You heard the wood. Yeah, you should have heard the wood. Go far out, practice. Oh god. And then just go far, so like touch it, put your hand out as far as you can, and then go back a bit, and then flick. And then that's how you practice flicks specifically. But you do, once you can do it a little bit, you do get practice on flicks the more you long jump. Like, my old flick actually used to be so counterintuitive. Like, this is my old flick. Like, it's actually a really good flick. Like, if you can consistently hit it, it's pretty decent. But I highly recommend just doing a little wrist flick. Especially for beginners, it's so simple, it's so useful. Like, just a small wrist flick, I can't today, but like with the maybe longer one over here, it'd be a lot easier to show you flicks. With this one, you just hit this, and then hit that. My controller is like a little buggy, so that's why it's just like, kind of popped there, but like, it just, a wrist flick, I love doing it a lot more, where you just flick your wrist really fast. Here's what it looks like. Here's what it looks like with my right arm. It's really, really easy. And that's the first thing you want to learn for long jumps. Second thing for long jumps. You're going to want to learn the hit harder. So it's really difficult to learn, but it's pretty much using your momentum whilst you hit. It's like you're able to build up a lot of momentum in a hit by, instead of just hitting like this, It's a lot of what you do. You push instead. Although it doesn't really work for long jumps, I mean high jumps, it's really useful for this. So yeah, that's pretty much long jumps. And then also hitting it. You want to hit near the edge, but say this one, you don't want to hit near the edge. Instead, you want to hit right here or so. Edge if you can, but this edge is a little bit of a weird edge. If you hit it exactly on the edge, you like stick. It's really difficult to do that, but just don't hit on the exact edge. And then you're just gonna want to be able to hit it at the right angle, and then just hit. It's really simple. You don't have to look at the branch you're aiming at if you have it memorized. Anyway, that's long jump, simple as it can be. If you don't understand this, search up a YouTube tutorial video. There are a lot. I made one myself that's definitely a lot more understandable than my current explanation. But yeah, so that's long jumps. Next thing we're gonna be talking about, I did cover this really, like, just cover this in intermediate, but just in case, obviously scaling. I ain't crazy at it, but if this is your scale, this is not a good scale. You do not want that scale at all. You're gonna want to, like, give it like a bunch of hits. You want to just increase the speed of it by hitting either faster or harder. Depends on whatever you choose. I highly recommend hard and fast, but if you can't do that, just do fast. I did just fast, and yeah. So that's just scaling. You're gonna want to also practice these things right here where you go around. To do them, pretty much, you just hit off, and then it's kind of like you go like either this. I drop my controller. Go like this. You just flick around your head, and it's pretty simple. And yeah, that's that. Now, what you're going to want to learn is stomp, gazebo, and master double walls for advanced. The reason I'm putting this here is not because advanced can't do it, it's just because intermediate doesn't need to learn it. There's no reason to learn double walls as an intermediate player. You want to learn elevator in a little bit. I'm not crazy at it, but like, you know, you're going to want to learn some fakes. Like just doing this, you can definitely learn something like this. You can 100% learn a little bit of a round. You can learn how to put yourself in one of these. Bluff. I honestly never learned this, honest. But what you do pretty much is you hit this, do a little bit of a round thing, and then go back. Do this. Oh wow, I explain it and then I can do it. Okay. You can learn that. That's pretty much just for looks. It's not that useful. Because it's a really easy to cut off. But yeah, that's that. So branching, great. My favorite. And after branching, I'm going to talk about walls a little bit. So for branching, you're going to want to implement those long jumps. The reason I talked about them first is because you want to implement long jumps into your branching. They shouldn't be like a thing you just practice on the side. They should be like what you do. I don't know. Anyway, you just hit, and you hit a long jump. It's pretty simple. Say I'm doing a little bit of a branch route here. I wouldn't really call this one a long jump, but like, just go here, you hit, and then you hit it. It's a long jump. I guess you can call this a long jump. This is one of the ones you should practice on. My arm just destroyed itself in the disconnect. Anyway, that's one of the ones you need to go for. This is an okay one to practice. I highly recommend you don't practice high jumps. You usually need a crouch jump for them. So just don't practice them in general. But yeah, you want to implement long jumps into your... Am I seeing things? I swear to God I'm seeing things. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm seeing things over there, I'm telling you. Bro, I'm going crazy. Anyway, want to practice the long jumps, pretty much. Just long jump in your routes. Just try hitting longer things. It'll make it so much harder to tag you, because most of the time when people chase, they don't hit as hard because they're lava. They want to try to counter out the speed boost. So when you're hitting as hard, and your hard hit is harder than their soft hit, you should be able to get away from them. So next, a little tip for branching. So I did talk about hitting toward the branch here. I'm going to be talking about under branches, toward the branches, and hitting harder when branching. So under branches, you're going to want to learn this as an advanced player. You're going to want to hit under, and yeah. And that's a nice route. It's pretty clean. You just pretty much hit the under of the branch. There's two little ways of under branching. This is called, I like to call it upper and lower under branch, but people just say, so it's either you hit right here, or you hit at the very bottom. Like you hit the bottom like that. This is a bottom under branch, and then this is a top under branch. It's really just like, doesn't really make a difference. I personally do bottom hits, or like a bottomless under branch. I believe that's the bottom. That's 100% the bottom, right? Yeah, that's the bottom, 100%. And then, yeah, that's what I like to do. Although if I'm trying to like do a little spin, I do the upper under branch or whatever. So I go like this. That'd be a lower one. But then this, I would call that less of an under branch and more of a loop-de-loop. But if you're going to call that an under branch, call it an upper under branch. And yeah, so there's some cool routes you can do with this. And it'll help improve your gameplay a bunch. Next, walls. So for walls, slippery walls, obviously. But this is like more of a high intermediate thing. I just didn't include it. You're going to want to learn how to hit like this easily. Learn how to stay on slips, I guess. That's pretty much it. Just learn. If you're a Lucioer, it's probably difficult to stay on slips, because what you're doing when you're Lucioing is like you're going to have to switch. It's really awkward for Lucioers. I'm not a Lucioer, so maybe it isn't, but I'm pretty sure it is. So anyway, yeah, obviously use your environment, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Just use slippery walls and slip slaps easily. Hit harder on branches. Hit more toward the branch as well. I did cover that in me. I'm just gonna quickly give it a little quick demonstration. Hit like toward the branch, like say. No, you just hit toward the branch, guys. So say I do this hit, I'd hit toward this branch like that, instead of like hitting toward the branch like this. It's just, that's that. Anyway, so for advanced players, to get better, you're gonna want to hit harder, hit more toward things, ground, walls, keep your arm close to you on walls, learn how to do slippery walls, learn how to long jump, learn how to long jump your like route things, learn how to do gazebo really well, double walls really well, and stump really well, and whatever else you want to do, treehouse as well if you want, and then use your environments really well. So that's that, guys, and now we're going to be going on to how to advance from advance. So guys, if you guys are trying to become like a pro or something, there are main things you want to focus on. So obviously, you can't go off of YouTube tutorials if you are trying to be pro. I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. You're going to want to get your own playstyle. You can't copy off of no YouTuber, okay? Sure, like you can call that a playstyle, but it really isn't. Don't copy your routes anymore. You want to make your own routes. So it's like, I have a couple of my own routes. A lot of people do them, but like, who cares? I made it myself. And I failed them consistently. That's a good thing as well. But I made some of my own routes that I like using. A lot of people use this route, honestly, or a route like this, but this is what I like doing. Where then I just do a quick revert and then like just go and slip slap in there. It's a really chill route. Nothing crazy, and that's one of my favorite routes I use consistently. I like to stick with the same old. So if I were to do like one of my favorite routes, this is it. It's super simple. You just do that long jump and you do some simple branches. It's pretty much that. It's just this. The only reason this is one of my favorite routes is because it's an iconic route. If you guys played back then, it used to be an iconic route. Although I made some changes to it, obviously. But it's an iconic route. Also, learn different long jump positions. For example, this one, and this one. And those are the long jumps you're gonna want to, like, well, not the ones you want to learn, but you want to learn long jumps outside of the long jump, like people know about. It'll help you get away as well, easily. So those are the things you want to focus on. But the side things you want to focus on everything. Those aren't like just specific people things. Because like obviously walls you want to focus on birding more and hitting harder, going up faster. Sticking to slippery walls easier and stay on slippery walls for longer. For branches you're going to want to just do what I just told you. But then like you're also going to want to learn ground. Ground's a universal thing. Learn it. You're going to want to learn like other things, small things. That you enjoy and all that. But then you're also going to want to focus on two main things, and this is going to be your main progression in skill in this like advancing to professional, I guess. I don't know what to call it. So the main thing you're going to be wanting to do is practice hitting harder and probably get better controllers than me. Yeah, that'd be a great idea. I don't know what's up with my arm, it always disconnects. But you're gonna wanna practice hitting harder and hitting more toward things. So the more you hit toward the next branch, the better, but the less room in error there is. So as you can see there, I tried my best to hit toward the routes. It was a really nice route there. I like that one as well. And it's pretty decent for getting away from people in normal lobbies, but you're obviously going to have to get some really unique, good, and hard to follow routes in professional leagues areas, like when you're Sapphire in the ranking system or playing scrims. Like those are the things you want to focus on. Getting good routes. But the only way to improve past that is hitting harder and hitting more toward things. Those are the main two things, I think. If there are any more main things, please leave a comment down below. It would really help. And yeah, so the main things for all the things are hit toward things and hit harder. That's really all you need to improve. Plus, obviously, game sense. Game sense is a huge thing, guys. If you're boosted with your little Hertz crap, I highly recommend you, I don't know, get game sense. All these wall players in comp right now, they go up the wall and they don't even look up. They just look down and they're like, "Oh guys, look at me. I'm going up walls." Alright? Although there's like 60 hertz. Sometimes they're cheating with speed boost, not usually. But it does happen quite a bit. If you think they're cheating, report them. They're not cheating, they don't get banned. It's that simple. And yeah, anyway guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This is really fun making. Really love it. I hope this helped you a lot. And if you watched to the end, please comment the word toast. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.